5 years ago, when Chief Willie Obiano took the oath of office as the governor of Anambra State, there were shouts of joy and loud jubilation across the land. The people had anchored their hopes and optimism on Obiano's solid corporate background and his impeccable track record as a result-driven corporate player. 5 years after, Governor Obiano has fully justified the people's confidence with a sterling performance. This is an objective account of Obiano's 5 years in office. An assessment of Governor Willie Obiano's achievements in Anambra State requires a reflection on his beliefs on good governance, as can be seen in the improved life of Ndi Anambra and the ranking position of the state among other states across Nigeria over the past 5 years.
Part of what His Excellency did was to give Anambra people, the Anambra, a new self-belief. Governor Obiano was like Margaret Thatcher, who restored that confidence to Great Britain. And she said, I want to put Great back in Britain. So he not only was dealing with the hard policies and the rest of that, but was also doing things to begin to rebrand the state. The state anthem was part of rebranding the state, the logo and the rest of them. So giving a people, a very proud people, back their pride.
First, we must remember Governor Obiano's vision and mission statements of making Anambra State the first choice investment destination and most preferred location to site new industries, and to create a socially stable, business-friendly environment that will attract both indigenes and foreigners to seek wealth creation opportunities in Anambra State. We may also remember that Obiano's mission and vision statements are a part of his economic blueprint, otherwise known as the Anambra Wheel of Development. The wheel rotates around what is called the 4 pillars, which include agriculture, industrialization, trade and commerce, and oil and gas.
In every aspect of Governor Obiano's work in 5 years, his policies have been underlined by public purpose, underlined by measurability, things you can measure. And that's why he said 4 things, measure me on 4 things. And for 5 years, you could see that those things are measurable and there are results. A contrast between the periods where mainstream politicians governed and when technocracy came into governance.
The 4 pillars are supported by the economic enablers, which include security, education, health, power, electricity, environment, social and civil infrastructure, finance, housing and urban development, hospitality and tourism, transportation, water and sanitation, youth and sports, and women development.
On one hand, we want to create a vibrant private sector that will drive the bulk of the economic activities, while the public sector, the government sector itself, would create the enabling environment that enables the private sector to thrive.
But what appears to have stood the Obiano administration out through the years is his resolve to run the state through institutions. This led to the establishment of agencies such as the Awka Capital Development Authority, ACDA, the Anambra State Investment Promotion and Protection Agency, ANSIPA, the Anambra Small Business Agency, ASBA, Anambra Transport Management Agency, ATMA, Operation Clean and Healthy Anambra Ocha Brigade, Operation Pochapo Joint Task Force on Security, and other special interventionist creations like the Anambra State Sports Development Commission, tailored towards addressing the growing need to restructure and grow critical sectors that directly affect the large army of otherwise vulnerable youths and ensure a productive engagement for them.
We are going all the way to develop sports in Anambra aspect. And for the records, we started with developing certain products that will make sports, all encompassing. For the Work for Life, which has come to stay, which is like a brand in other states or in other parts of the world, what you know is about marathon. But we created this one. We call it Walk for Life. We've done about the 5th edition. Right now, we have football season in Anambra State, which runs from November to May every year. The governor procured over 2,000 branded footballs, and it was distributed all over the state, from the primary schools to the secondary schools to the communities to the markets, security agencies, and the universities. So we have 6 corps, and they were all giving footballs to start their own games. It will definitely reduce crime rates because they are occupied. So it's a major way of reducing crime, just like the street light project.
All the policy trusts and acts of the Obiano administration have led to increased profitable economic engagements for increasing number of Anambra, as well as a vibrant state economy in a stable geopolitical space. This agrees with the governor's determination to fight crime by creating jobs and alleviating excruciating pains of the masses.
We key in very seriously to His Excellency's blueprint in terms of the pillars that we believe will drive Anambra economy, which includes agriculture, trade and commerce, logistics, the creative industry. All this is tied into an economic blueprint, and we essentially expedite and facilitate this for the state and for its investors.
Governor Willie Obiano's unprecedented achievements in the agri sector have placed Anambra State in the forefront of notable states helping the country to attain food sufficiency.
He has developed agricultural blueprints in Anambra State. He put together solid agronomists, professors, and good team of agronomists to look around the state and come up with structured process strategy that will drive agriculture in Anambra State. So ideally what we're doing is utilizing what we have, increasing the capacity of our farmers, and bringing the best practice to develop whilst we are gradually increasing the land utilization as the fundings are available. That's why we could jump from 80 metric tons of rice in 2014 to 345 by 2017. And by our target for 2018, we were looking to achieve 2 million metric tons. So you could see our projections are all based on one, being very creative, developing agriculture strategically and organically to make sure that we drive what His Excellency has given us as a mandate.
I outlined my vision for agriculture to the committee in the following terms. That Anambra State should be among the top 3 states in agricultural production in Nigeria. That Anambra should become number 1 in the production of rice, cassava, and fish in the first 4 years of my administration.
The governor's speech was meant to rouse the spirit of the people and fire their interest in agriculture. He has sustained the tradition in the past 5 years, flagging off the planting seasons for each year, and now, 5 years after Governor Obiano's fiery speech, the result has been spectacular. He has also given out improved seedlings and other agricultural inputs, and all these have contributed to the impressive narrative about Anambra's success in agriculture.
We have done so much in the rice sector. As you are well aware, the Z seed, which is doing seed multiplication for the state government, there's an MOU signed with the ministry that all the seed he produces will be bought over by the ministry under our procurement process. The Kocharis farms will benefit also from this arrangement because all the investors would want to have breeder seeds that they are going to use and to plant in their farms. So this seed is doing so well for us. When those crops are harvested, they will be for the ministry to uptake. We are now the uptakers, which we use now to distribute to other farmers that will produce the seeds. They produce the paddy for the mills.
The Anambra have responded in a bold, unforgettable way to the challenge their governor had thrown at them. Today, there are big agricultural farms in Anako, Ibariam, Ufuma, Umueje, and Omo. At Anako, Koschari's Farms, owned by Dr. Cosmas Madoka, runs one of the most advanced rice farms in Nigeria with sophisticated farm machineries.
So this rice mill, we started this project in 2017, and now it has completed. And really we have got a great support from His Excellency for this project. and every time he visited us for a number of times and provided excellent support to us and encouragement. This rice mill has got a capacity of 40,000 metric ton of rice, okay, and which will produce annually in a year, every year. And very soon we are going to put a second line this side, and which will make the capacity of another maybe more than 100,000 tons. Similarly, we are increasing the capacity of the production in the farm also, which will have more rice will come from the farm for so that we get a very good product, final product in Anambra State. So the rice, which you can see it has got a natural aroma. Once you eat this rice, you know that you're eating something.
In Nebariam, Linden's Integrated Farms, owned by Dr. Clem Wobo, operates the second largest poultry farm in Nigeria. Dr. Oliver Okonkwo's Josan Agro Farms Limited, Ufuma, is the largest integrated rice farm in Nigeria.
Agriculture happens to be really one of the pillars that drives the rural development. This current government has done everything to see that agriculture is aided.
Then, of course, there is Chelsea Farms, owned by Chief Patrick Chidolue. Chelsea Farms sits on 14,000 hectares of land in Agulue Road to covered with cassava.
Chelsea Farm is an initiative of Obiano administration. Initially, we had gone to Kogi to go and acquire 10,000 hectares of land. But when we had Obiano asking Anambra indigenes to think home, and indeed to come home and grow the local economy, we decided to join the bandwagon, not knowing that it was serious. Because I've seen governors in the past who were jokers, who would come and say something and indeed mean something else. So we approached an establishment set up by Obiano administration called ANSIPA. And I was shocked that Obiano is very serious. And then they were able to show me a location. I love it. It's heavenly. And having allocated that to us, immediately we swung into action. We have about 156 people working in this farm.
Okay.
And we are cultivating 700 hectares of the cassava that we have cleared. Now, we're also cultivating the rice in about 400 hectares. The facilities we're building now for processing is higher than what we can grow in our own farm. We can process 50 tons of cassava per hour. So with that kind of capacity, we cannot grow it in our farm. But what it will afford us is that it will afford us opportunity of being the off-taker of all the neighborhood. That's I'm talking of the entire Anambra North, then some Kogi axis and the Enugu axis. So we will now train them on how to cultivate, and when they cultivate, they bring, we buy. Our target is to develop human resources. A man is a resource based on what he can produce, not how fine he looks. The die is cast. There's no going back. So the big agric farm that you hear only in your ears without seeing it is already starting in Anambra.
Little wonder, Anambra rice, Anambra yam, Ogo Anambra, Anambra bitter leaves, Anambra scent leaves, etc. are commanding brands across Nigeria and beyond. Indeed, organic vegetables originating from Anambra State are in high demand in some parts of Europe, where the farmers, assisted by agencies of the state government, have established a flourishing market.
In here we have proper off-takers who leverage on what we do via backward integration to pick up the produces as they're being produced. His Excellency also invested in trucks. We have 3 trucks here, fully air-conditioned trucks, to help our farmers and our exporters to pick up all the produces for export.
Export activity, I went into it sometime in 2015. That's when we began to explore the opportunities there are. We began to do things that didn't need much to preserve them, and exported them abroad. But late 2015 stroke early 2016, following the concerted efforts of our governor, Dr. Obiano, to encourage agricultural activity, particularly export of vegetables, I took special interest in that, and we underwent some of the trainings. They brought people from abroad to give interested actors on health and safety measures and ways to condition and preserve vegetables and make them exportable. we underwent those trainings, and I undertook to travel abroad myself, explored opportunities, and then we began to export vegetables. We were doing them by air initially, and then when we realized that to do large volumes, it has to be by sea and has to be frozen, we now acquired some equipment and capacity to process and export by sea. We exported to England, but the major bulk of what we've done went to America, Canada, which is North America. We did some containers to Canada, and then we have consistently been exporting to mainland United States of America. And initially, we were moving our products from Oka to Lagos. It was in Lagos we were loading them into reefer containers, and to do that you need a refrigerated truck. So I used to check the reefer trucks provided by Anambra State government, move the cargo to Lagos, and in Lagos we now transload into the reefer container for onward exports. Yes, so Anambra State certainly under Willie Obiano, has done so much to encourage the exports of agri products.
In trade and commerce, the Anambra State government under Obiano has successfully partnered with shoemaking entrepreneurs to build a functional shoe manufacturing market in Nkwele, Zunaka. Shoes made in this market are sold across West Africa and beyond.
So formerly, we are in Owerri Road, kilometer 1 on each Owerri Road. That place is too congested. But as God may do it, the governor helped us and relocated us in this place. So now we are free. Customers are coming from here and there, from north, from south, from everywhere in the country. Our products are going outside of the country. Cameroon, Niger, Chad, Congo DR. So it's a very good benefit to us.
Following the success story of the Anambra State International Shoe and Leather Industrial Cluster, we are also working on another one called Tailoring and Garment International Cluster. Construction work is ongoing. Doing so much with so little. Creative funding. Recreating the Anambra to a better tomorrow.
The governor achieved this enviable feat through various relevant institutions of government that identify, locate, monitor and facilitate attractive funding of economic activities in the state. The Anambra State Small Business Agency, ASBA, has been largely instrumental to this development, providing funding and nurturing small businesses in the state to maturity.
We applied this fund within the purview of the limit to over 7,000 in the Anambra. This cut across the critical economic pillars of the government: agricultural value chain, trade and commerce, cottage industries, etc. Every local government benefited. The artisan, the market woman, even the young graduates that have not market money, we put them into cooperatives so they could be able to function. These monies we applied in that direction. And then the 1 billion naira for SME. These are the bigger, players, people that are well structured. We use it to resuscitate over 300 companies in Anambra State, including the Anambra Rice. And all these things we have done within the purview of our critical economic engine.
Since physical development easily qualifies as one of the critical factors in measuring a government's achievement, Chief Obiano's consciousness for legacy projects identifiable in the well-appointed triple flyovers in Oka, the over 15 completed bridges, including the longest bridge ever built by any state government in the southeast of the Niger, in addition to other critical bridges and roads opening up access to far-flung corners of Anambra State with large expanse of arable land for unlimited agriculture and industrial activities.
We try as much as possible, His Excellency tried as much as possible to balance these roads in the entire 3 senatorial districts. But we are paying more attention in those areas that has not seen tarred roads since Adam. We don't measure the roads we have done by the number of kilometers we have covered, but we are measuring what we have done on the impact, positive impact it's having on our people. We are doing a road from Oguanocha Road, about 12.4 kilometers from Obaru to Oguanocha. And we are about awarding a bridge that crosses from Oguanocha in Obaru to Hiala. This will make it easy for anybody going from Onitsha, even if you are going to Owerri, instead of passing through Owerri Road, you pass through Obari, through Obiano, and get to Hiala, and we are gone. His Excellency is doing a road from Miata to Nzam with a bridge being done by Canopy. In Anambra West, we'll talk of Iyora. Iyora is a community that has never seen a road before, a third road. We have done a road through Iyora. It's linking the road going to the Oil Rig Road, Eziaglo to Enugu, with a bridge. There's a bridge in Miata, there's a bridge in Iyora. Doing another one to Onono. We are doing from Umudora to Onono. Then that road, these people, they've never seen road before. It's been done by Tama. The contract is ongoing, but it's been slowed down by the rain. I want to assure the Anambra that we are not stopping any job. Any job that is being delayed today may be because of rain. But let them be rest assured that any project we started, His Excellency has assured us that we must complete it.
Nteje are very proud of you. This is a grateful community of Nteje that you've opened up our community for the first time in the history of this town. You've given us a wonderful road, a bridge. You are building a road from Nteje to Nando. You are building one from Nteje to Nsugbe. We feel very proud. We thank you so much for all you do for us. Nteje is a link now to many communities so that agricultural products will be evacuated, and it's done because Obiano is really working. We appreciate you. We'll continue to show you favor and pray for you to live long.
We keep an eye on every project. We keep a database of every project. We go, we push for standards, we push for quality, we push for speed, we push for efficiency, and we ensure that the contract terms are adhered to. So if you're supposed to work with about, let's say, 25 mm of rod, we go check it, we measure it, and ensure that that's what you're doing. We ensure that you test, do the materials testing you're supposed to do according to the testing schedule. We ensure that the work program of the project is followed, so that every project is delivered on time.
This government has completed and commissioned many of the roads and other projects it inherited from the previous administration.
Most of the major legacy project that he made, he believed in continuity, has completed them. Like the Golden Tulip Hotel is now completed, and the House of Assembly complex, he met it and completed it.
Governor Willie Obiano's bent on signature projects is easily identifiable in the ongoing construction of an international conference center at Awka and the total makeover of the auditorium of Professor Dora Akunyili Women Development Center in Awka, the quality finishing of Golden Tulip Hotels Agolo, the beautification of Upper Iweka Road Onitsha, the ongoing renovation of the Chief Jeremy Udoji State Secretariat, etc. equally bear testimony to Governor Willie Obiano's quest for legacy holdings in Anambra State.
Like I said, he's a very special leader. A whole lot of people during their second term, they relax, but he's firing from all cylinders. Of course, you see what is going on in the Secretariat. Even a blind man, will see that. Major work, major intervention work, refreshing it. I tell people that what the governor is doing in some of this major renovation is makeover. Is beyond renovation. Landscaping work, introduction of additional facility like the crèche, where some workers with children can actually keep their children while they work. So having mentioned this legacy project, like the International Conference Center, this is a project that I always feel excited to talk about. It's going to be first of its kind this part of the world. It's a mega project. Massive project, very challenging engineering processes involved. It can take about 10,000 people at once because it has the major hall, about 7,000, and the other halls in between restaurant, and the landscaping is going to be out of this world. Then the WDC, we have done massive renovation of the auditorium, and then if you go there now, see massive work is going on, the general landscaping, and we are completing the amphitheater, and we are doing a very modern executive office for Excellency, and the Commissioner for Women and Children Affairs there. At the ABS, if you take a look at that place, you see the beautiful fence that is completed. The NYSC office complex is another mega one. It's going to be the biggest in the southeast, if not in Nigeria. Very, very massive state-of-the-art complex that is being done. That one is almost 70-80% completed.
Of great relevance too is the governor's innovative yearly 20 million naira community choose your project initiative, which is in its third year of operation. By this singular policy, all the 177 communities in Anambra State, in addition to 3 distinct metropolitan settings, receive the sum of 20 million naira for any project of their choice annually. This novel concept has attracted other state governments who seek Anambra State's template for the scheme.
When Nigeria slid into recession, he was the first governor of a state to come up with palliatives, things that will address the impact of recession in the subnational levels and the state level. The star thing there was the introduction of community choose your project, through which he moves 20 million naira each to the 179 or 81 communities in Anambra State, flying over the financial processes but not breaching procedure into the communities, right? So what that means is that he has 2 parallel community development, infrastructural development paradigm. One driven at the state level, the other one driven at the community levels. Because that is a way of putting money into the hands of the mass people in the community. Because of the conditionalities attached. The project must be conceived and must be of optimum benefit to the community by their own thinking. The implementer, the person handling, or what we call the contractor of the project, must be from the community. The other ancillary hands for the project must be from the community. So the 20 million naira is thrown into the community and it dissolves in the community.
Worthy of note is the influx of investments into the state, more from the large number of successful entrepreneurs indigenous to Anambra State who, following the prevailing security that Obiano's government has provided, decided to respond to the government's Akuluono advocacy by setting up new businesses in their home state.
It's quite interesting, you would think that the majority of investors would be of local origin, and that to an extent. There are quite a few, but well over 50% of our investors are non-Nigerians, which shows you a lot of people think that investment stops in sort of the capital, the commercial capital Lagos or the federal capital Abuja. But we're able to draw down investment. As I said, over 50% of our investors are non-indigens. We do continue to push indigens. There's a cultural proximity, so they believe already in the story. However, we tend to try and diversify our investor base and also our investment base in terms of sectorally. We're not skewed to any particular one. We have oil and gas investments, we have real estate investments, we have a lot of agricultural investments. In fact, we are now in certain crops becoming very self-sufficient in terms of domestic production and versus consumption. So there's a lot that's going into play to deliver on the mandate of the pillars of government in terms of sustainability.
Again, of note is the ongoing Operation Light Up Anambra campaign, which targets installation of street lights across the length and breadth of the state. So far, the benefits from the distance covered justify the efforts. The Anambra now enjoy longer business hours without the fear that darkness compels. This means a longer period of unhindered economic activity and an increase in disposable income for entrepreneurs.
We've done the first phase and second phase of street lighting. When you come to Anambra State, which you call the light of the nation, you could see that really is the light of the nation. The 3 prominent towers on the flyovers are there. The street lighting is almost all in all the local governments. We've done the first 100 kilometers, second 100 kilometers of street lighting, and we're in the third phase of that now. And we are moving to complete all the strategic areas in all the local governments. Then virtually all the major roads are ready.
Anambra State has maintained its position as the reference point of excellence in the education sector. This is due to the sustained outstanding performance of Anambra students, teachers, and schools in external examinations and competitions. Under Obiano's watch, many schools in Anambra State have successfully participated in academic contexts across the globe. The most memorable is the success story of the 5 girls from Regina Pachi Girls Secondary School, Onitsha, who conquered the world by winning a gold medal in the Silicon Valley Technovation competition that held in the United States of America in 2018. These achievements were made possible by the sustained investment in education.
We started to change the psyche of our children. True, Anambra State had always been on the top, Even before we came in, we were doing well. There's no doubt about that. But then how do we maintain that and ensure that we have students who are able to defend their certificates at all times? We developed what we call the 10 shared values to make a positive impact on everyone I meet and everywhere I go, to be a solution provider and not a part of the problem to be solved, to be a role model of emulation, to be my best in all I do, and so on and so forth. And the last one, number 10, that says to make my family, my state, my nation, and my God proud. And it began to change how our children, we are thinking. We started with some dictums. We said, nothing is impossible. Yes, we can. So His Excellency said, I want to give them education that is globally competitive. I remember what His Excellency told them when we brought them to him before they left. He told them that these people do not have 2 heads. Go there and beat them. And they went and beat them and came back. So that's one thing about His Excellency. He would want you. He never likes. He doesn't like second or third position. He always wants you to come first.
The Chukwuemeka Odumegwu University is a frontline beneficiary of Governor Weli Obiano's proper funding for education. His administration has ensured that the university is not denied funds that could mar her determination to continue to produce students and graduates that will compete favorably with their peers across the globe.
I see the governor as a dynamic and pragmatic leader who actually is close to his own people. Doggedly has made a lot of tremendous achievements as it concerns education in our own university. I came in here on 12th March 2018, and since that 12th March 2018 to now, he has always paid us our subvention promptly every month, and this in a way has helped us to pay salaries at the end of every month. When I came in, I found out also we have an old medical center which was there for a long time ago, and is not all that suitable for the university. Immediately we made mention of that to the governor. He immediately came to our aid by establishing a new medical center here at Aquarium, and subsequently made approval for the equipment of that medical center. The management science block that was long abandoned by previous governments, he has also approved for the completion of that abandoned management science building, which if completed will take care of all the accommodation problems of the Faculty of Management Sciences. It also interesting to know that within this short period, he has also given approval for the landscaping of this particular building on his own, even without us asking. Occasionally he will just drive along our own campus. He has also given approval for the fencing of the perimeter fencing of the whole entire university. It will also surprise you that sometime last year, within the month of June, July, I ran to him to give approval for the memorial lecture of Chukwuemeka Odumegwu, and there and there he gave approval. Last convocation exercise also, he funded the convocation exercise almost 100%. and has done a lot for the university. He has in a lot of ways encouraged us. I'm very proud of him being the governor, and I see in him also a true Igbo person, a true Igbo man who loves his people and wants to do a lot for them.
Activities in the health sector hold Governor Obiano as a health-friendly governor. In both policies, direct health delivery activities and interface with notable organizations on health concerns, the Anambra State government under Governor Willie Madabro Obiano has fared so well.
It's the first government that has a clearly defined blueprint, clearly written out and spelled out, and was given out to the commissioner to implement. And that blueprint is evidence-based and is based on the world's best practice. And is centered on infrastructure, human resources, and then the patient. And that has been fully implemented. We have almost done above 85% of the blueprint. It was the blueprint and the implementation that helped us to have a clearly defined goal. And we approach this in under 3 aspects: under the primary, secondary, and tertiary health care.
The increasing number of equipped and functional primary health centers across the state, the Food Hygiene Initiative, the instituting of the Traditional Medicine Board, the ongoing infrastructural and operational upgrade in some of the state general hospitals are indicative of a vibrant health sector in Anambra State.
It was this government that came in and started that these primary health centers should be brought under one roof, what is called primary health care under one roof, when we queued to the National Primary Health Care Development Agency and WHO. And therefore, we drafted the first bill. It was drafted Primary Health Care Development Agency in 2014. And by 2015, it was passed into law. And based on the European Union, Anambra State was given 7% in terms of implementation of primary health care. But I can bet you today, we were 97. And apart from that, there were a lot of support around the primary health care. One of the challenges we have in this place is having access to riverine areas. And if you look at the health indices and statistics in this state, you find that most of the worst indices, you get them from those riverine areas. What are we talking about? It has improved access to those riverine areas. Provision of boat ambulances, about 7, speedboats, about 20-something. And then recently, we introduced the KK ambulance model that have not been used anywhere, to make sure that there must be a way of referring patients from primary health care to secondary and tertiary, just in a classical knob and spoke pattern, to have a comprehensive health care for our people. Then apart from that, there are some other reforms. Oxygen is said to be very free, but there's a time when oxygen is needed in a very high concentration to make life, a pure oxygen. And now we have the best oxygen generating plant in Nigeria that has the capacity of producing 207 cylinders in a day. Therefore, it can serve the whole of Southeast. So the governor has done marvelously, and his policies being executed.
The teaching hospital has improved tremendously under the administration of Governor Willie Madabro Obiano.
As a matter of fact, His Excellency's attention to healthcare has been of immense benefit to the teaching hospital. As you know, just recently he commissioned the oxygen plant, and that singular move alone has brought down the prices of oxygen here in the teaching hospital. Because before now, we normally get oxygen from Enugu. So for now, it's within our doorstep, and all thanks to His Excellency. Currently, we're housing the only mega lab in the Southeast that can handle 510 specimens as against micro labs. As I'm talking to you now, it might interest you to know, teaching hospital Unewi, teaching hospital Enugu, all bring their samples here for virology analysis, because we now have a plant that can process 510 specimens, and it is designed that it will be 24-hour power supply services. Now, to be able to do that, there are standby gen. There are 2 inverters, one automatic and one semi-automatic, in addition to our 18 to 20 hours of power supply services, which we currently now enjoy in the hospital. To complement that also is the installation of a 64-slice CT. The surgeons and all doctors know the importance of
CT scan. That again, I can tell you, is very few in Southeast. Complementing this also is the mother-child health care. The only one in Southeast, again, I'll tell you, and that means the maternal-child health care will tremendously improve here. And apart from other developmental strategies, our casualty is wonderfully equipped and has all the modern gadgets. And we're still optimistic that more things are coming because the Excellency recently has approved some buildings for the teaching staff, because as a result of the improved clinical services, more Anambrans are benefiting from the healthcare delivery. And with the introduction of the health insurance scheme, that has also brought a lot of surge in here, and people access Medicare at the cheapest of rates. So all thanks to His Excellency.
The novel Anambra State Health Insurance Scheme has been floated to cushion the effect of emergency huge financial burden that might be consequent upon health challenges in families.
It is my pleasure to unveil the plaque to commemorate the official flag of the Anambra State Health Insurance Scheme. And I'll do this in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Round of applause, please, for His Excellency.
One of the greatest challenge in health all over the world is what is called health financing. Our people do not believe in saving for health. They will save for everything. The least they will save for is health. And if they are sick, they say it's not my portion. It's an evil thing. But that is the wrong setting. You must save because you don't know where the sickness is coming. And that's why Governor came and insisted. What we are talking about is not pushing out an idea, but we are talking about drafting the bill, passing it into law, and it becomes a law in the state. Therefore, you have Anambra State Health Insurance Agency, ASHA, functional now. And you know what? It has captured over 50,000 lives within a space of less than 1 year. It has not happened in any part of the country. And our people are wonderful, Anambra State people. Because there's an input there, what they call adoption. A situation whereby you can adopt some people from your place at a very small amount, 12,000 per person per year. You access all your health you want. Therefore, for people who cannot afford it, the elections can help and pay for them.
I registered as a civil servant under the scheme, and from the onset of the pregnancy, I registered at St. Teresa's Hospital. All the while I've been coming from my antenatal visits, I only pay 10% of my drugs. Then yesterday I delivered of a bouncing baby girl. It wasn't a normal delivery, it was a cesarean section. And I was given a pint of blood. It was all covered without asking for a dime for the blood that was given to me. And I wasn't charged for the delivery.
She told me about this scheme, Asha. So I was just like, are you serious? How real is this? I just don't want to get into something at the end of the day. I get caught up with unforeseen circumstances. But she kept convincing me, telling me that this is not like any other place, that this is Anambra State, that really the governor is actually serious about it. There's some positive evidence to that effect. So I expected every time she wants to go for an antenatal, I'm supposed to, just like my two sons, every time she wants, I always give her money for antenatal, But coming to this one, I was like, you didn't ask me for money. Say no, it's still that scheme. And I've been going there, I don't pay nothing, just a token of 10% of the drugs. I said, are you serious? She said yes. It's kept going on till yesterday. Is a cesarean section. That's the most she used in putting to bed. I know what it cost, but now that money for that procedure, I have to use it for something else. So I'm so happy. I'm thanking the governor. I mean, whoever that brought up this initiative to him, I'm also thanking the person. I'm thanking Anambra State government because, come on, I'm not from Anambra State, I'm from Imo, and I'm benefiting from Anambra State.
I really appreciate the
the initiator of this program. And I said that God will bless the person that initiated it. Initially, when they started the program, I kicked against it. I said I'm not in support, that I'm not interested. But when some of my colleagues, when they came back, they say, hey, do you know I spent just 200 naira? Some say 1,000. I said, wow, let me go and try it. And around February, I came here with two of my children. And they came back, I didn't even spend up to 1,000 plus. I said, wow, what I used to spend 15,000. I said, God. So from that time, I started bringing my children. And even myself, we start coming to this place. And this one, in fact, I said, God, thank you. Because when I came, it was, doing too complicated operation. Outside how much you will spend. And I thank God that even when they say the one we are going to pay, my husband said, just thank God, though. This one is even small. You don't have to complain. If outside, you know how much you will spend. I said, let them do everything. And I thank God, everything was successful. This boy came out.
It should be recalled that while recession ravaged the rest of Nigeria 2 years ago, the people of Anambra State were having the time of their lives. Governor Obiano's ingenious economic plan of suspending tax collection from low-income earners, regular payment of salaries, funding of the productive sector of the economy, and the 20 million naira community choose your project initiative ensured that Anambra families always had enough food on their tables. Indeed, Governor Obiano has continued to give incentives to motivate the workforce. This is in addition to the special incentives for spectacular performers in service, as well as for teachers of core science subjects, mathematics and Igbo, and for teachers in the hard-to-reach localities in the state. This necessitates commitment and competition amongst workers in the state. The tourism sector has equally felt Governor Obiano's dynamism in governance as the largely untapped potentials of major tourist spots in the state are being opened up for tourists. The interventions at Obaku Caves and waterfalls at Owere Zukala and at the Obunike Cave provide good examples.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, we officially launch Owere Zukala as a tourism resort today. We want Owere Zukala to be just for Anyiwa, for those of us who live here. We need footfall here. We need visitors to come here. And like we said, the ultimate goal is to have the UNESCO identify with this project and help us take it to the very next level.
Governor Obiano's innovations in governance have rubbed off well on the state judiciary like never before. Under his watch, the state judiciary has introduced landmark changes that facilitate smooth administration of justice.
Today in the Ministry of Justice, it has never been like that before. We have e-case management system, that is electronic case management system. The electronic case management system makes one to, at a click of a button, know the number of cases in Anambra State that is pertaining to the government of Anambra State. It also assists to know the stage of the cases. So it monitors the entire process of adjudication in the Ministry of Justice.
The governor's interest in maintaining an effective judicial system has led to sustained training and retraining of judicial officers. Today, soft copies of Anambra laws are available to whoever wishes to access them.
It is worthy of note that the laws of Anambra State were last revised in 1991. And it is an international practice that laws are revised at least once every 10 years. But ours has lasted for 28 years without its being revised. So the governor, seeing what has happened and seeing the need for the revision of the laws to be in line with the contemporary society and the global best practices, has nominated and inaugurated Law Revision Committee. So now, as I speak with you, we have Law Revision Committee in Anambra State that was inaugurated by His Excellency, chaired by Honorable Justice Ijem Onwamegu. We have gone a long way in doing that because we have put all the laws of Anambra State in soft copy, and we have requested that the public make contributions as to what need to be in the law, particularly those in the legal profession, both those at the bar and at the bench, even those at the academia. We ask them to send in their contributions, and that's a very great milestone. And I believe before the year runs out, these laws will be ready, bound, and ready for use.
Governor Willie Madabrochukwu Obiano's recognition of the judiciary as the hope of the common person manifests in the support he has continued to give to Citizens' Rights Department to continue the legal needs of the poor and the downtrodden who cannot afford to pay for legal services. The governor has been most benevolent to the judicial officers. He has been charitable to the prisoners whose lives he has continued to impact, using the provisions of the law on the prerogative of mercy.
This prerogative of mercy is the exclusive preserve of the state governor and the president. So Section 212 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, provided that the governor of any state can release convicted prisoners, either giving them pardon outrightly or releasing them with a condition. So after the recommendation, it does not stop there. The list is sent to DSS. They will make their recommendations. If they are qualified to be released on security basis, then myself as the chairman of the council will now recommend them to the governor, and the governor releases them.
Governor Willie Madabrochukwu Obiano's success in making and keeping Anambra State could therefore easily be noted as the pivot of his overall achievement in governance in the past 5 years. The now sustained tag of the safest state in Nigeria for an enclave whose past record of criminality struck horror in the minds of residents and visitors alike is indeed remarkable. This explains the honors he has attracted as the Sun Governor of the Year 2016 and the prestigious Zig Prize for Governance, among others. Beyond the tangible effects in the past 5 years of Obiano's reign in Anambra State, the underlying value of the governor's ethical revolution in deconstructing the self-perception of Ndi Anambra and indeed Ndi Igbo as victims of the Nigerian nation and his immeasurable success in reconditioning their psyche as proud citizens deserves a mention. Recall that in the first year of his administration, Chief Willie Obiano rolled out the drums to mourn the unsung heroes and heroines of Eastern Nigeria who died in the Biafran War. This singular expression of boldness, which no other government in the East had exercised, emboldened Ndi Igbo and restored their dignity in the Nigerian Federation. Governor Obiano's boldness in confronting issues related to the quest for a better Nigeria again came to the fore when, against all odds, he volunteered to host the Ohaneze Ndi Igbo Summit on restructuring of the Nigerian Federation, which took place at Ekweme Square in Awka in April 2018. The forum provided a common platform for the Southeast people to speak strongly in support of a restructured Nigeria.
Chief Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano, the wife of the governor of Anambra State, comes across as someone with a soothing touch on the bruises of the vulnerable population of our society.
I get this sense of satisfaction and fulfillment when I help the needy. And this is something that I didn't just start today. It's something I've been into a better part of my life, because the Bible says that whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. And I believe in God, and I know that this world is a surgeon. So I want at the end of the day to go back home to my Creator, and that means making heaven.
Anambra women, young girls, indigent widows, people affected with mental illness, abandoned babies, mothers of triplets and quadruplets, people afflicted with terminal ailments, children with special needs, and several other categories of vulnerable people have all had many reasons to think kindly of Osodieme Aguleri. Osodieme is also largely seen as an Amazon by young girls that have benefited from her regular skill acquisition and empowerment programs. Most of these young women would have been floating around and falling prey to human traffickers and other enemies of society if Osodieme had not offered them a lifeline. Indeed, Osodieme has offered more than a lifeline to another segment of physically challenged people. These are our brothers and sisters who have suffered the loss of a limb. To this group of people, Osodieme has partnered some reputable organizations to provide prosthetic limbs and made it easier for them to regain a degree of self-confidence. He has also carried out several corrective surgeries for children with cleft palates and helped them avert a future riddled with self-loathing. And two things remind us of Osodieme's outstanding attempts to redefine the template of compassionate leadership. One of them is the building and donation of over a dozen houses to extremely poor widows who once lived in mud houses. Osodieme Aguleri is probably the only governor's wife in living memory who has built and donated houses to more than a dozen widows. Rehabilitation and healing of mentally challenged people picked from the streets of Anambra State is also one of the definitive initiatives of Osodieme. The interdevelopmental home has not only impacted many lives in the past 5 years, it has also added important chapters to the emerging narratives of the new Anambra State under Governor Willie Obiano. The home gave Nigeria an epic moment recently when 72-year-old Mrs. Rose Anene, who was presumed dead for 35 years, was reunited with her family. The reunion of Mrs. Anene with her family after 35 long years stirred emotions across the country and drew a huge attention to Osodieme Aguleri as the open conscience of leadership in Nigeria.
Over the course of 5 years, Governor Willie Obiano has firmly established himself in the imagination of his people as a visionary, fearless, and courageous leader who is not afraid to hold opinions that may not be popular so long as it will benefit his people in the long run. Governor Obiano's hands-on approach to leadership, which has seen Anambra State leapfrog to the front line of Nigeria's leading states, remains a model for students of leadership and everyone who wishes to know what it takes to turn the fortunes of a potentially great state around and transform a once dreaded enclave into a shining beacon of excellence. God bless Governor Willie Obiano, Abokwedike Aguleri. God bless Anambra State. God bless Nigeria.